Garrett, she loves it. What's up, Game of Thrones? It's your boy DJ11 and Snafu back at it again, and we got some stuff to talk about. What's up, Game of Thrones? Just in case we came on just a little bit early. What's up, Game of Thrones? It's your boy DJ. There it is. It would not be the same if we didn't come on that way. Let's get it. Yeah, it's your boy DJ11 and Snafu back at it again, and we're going to be talking about some Jon Snow things tonight. How's everybody doing out there? For everybody that comes in later and watches this later, welcome, welcome. We are going to be talking about Jon Snow, the pink letter, what Melisandre really saw in the flames when she was talking to Stannis, and is Jon Snow really Aemon? What do you think about it? How you been, Andy? What's going on with you?
I'm pretty good. I'm not as high energy as you with that intro, but at least I got my chat or my stream muted, so there's that. But I'm looking forward to some Jon Snow talk. Perfect time after I rewatched an episode, so looking forward to it.
Nice. Which episode did you watch?
The one after. It's after Blackwater. I think it might be season 3, episode 1, when Melisandre's talking to Stannis and he's all pissed off at her. Like, you said you saw me winning, and she's like, I still do. Still, you are gonna win. And that's the shit that got me thinking. Like, you know, I don't know. You wanted to talk about something else? I can wait on my shit. Whatever.
No, you got it fresh in your mind. You can go ahead and get it out. You saw. Remind everybody what it is that she said, what they were talking about, and what she saw, and the reality of it, real quick.
Okay. So he confronts her and says, "You said I was gonna. You saw me winning. You saw my victory." And she said, "I still do." And then she goes on to describe like the things he's gonna do. She's like, you're gonna betray your family. You're gonna betray your followers, your men, and you're gonna become everything you promised you wouldn't be, or you don't want to be. You're gonna be everything that you hate, something to that effect. And then, but she'll see his victory, and that just got me thinking. Like, we know that, you know. That's not him she's talking about. She admits it now that, like, it must have been Jon that she was talking about the whole time. She was confused. So does that mean Jon becomes all those things? He betrays his men. He betrays his family. And if so, and he becomes everything that he hates, or he promised he wouldn't be. So if all that's the case, who's he betraying? How does he betray his family? How does he betray his men? You could already say that maybe he betrayed his men by letting the wildlings through. So you could that one could be out of the way, but maybe not. And then what does he become? Like, that he despises, or that he promised he would never be, you know?
Yeah, I was over in the chat and I was on mute. I didn't want to start talking. But yeah, absolutely. He could. I mean, it could be betrayed his men if you think about letting the wild things through. If you're going with the show, he could have betrayed the North by bending the knee to Dany and giving up the North right away like that. Hey, what's Cammy? What's good, Cammy? See, you just popped in the chat. Welcome, everybody. Got Bubba Husky, Cameo, LMR, B4, AZ. That's a long name, buddy. LMR, welcome. My man JD the Dragon. Good to see everybody tonight. Glad everybody's stopping in before bed and saying what's up. What's up? But yeah, we could say Jon already betrayed the North by giving it up, bending the knee. And going back to what I think in the show, I don't even think really Jon Snow is Jon Snow. So I don't think what came back alive was necessarily 100% Jon Snow. It's an entity taking over basically his being or whatever, his body. But there's a reason we didn't see Ghost. I don't think it was just for money or budget reasons, no matter what any other rumors say. I think there's a big reason. I think it's going to come to fruition here in season 8. But yeah, I think there's a reason we didn't see Ghost, and I think that reason is because Jon Snow isn't really 100% Jon Snow.
Yeah, and that would make sense too. If why, you could even say that's why Melisandre didn't know it was Jon right when she saw him, right? Like the first time she sees him, she doesn't know that it's him that her stuff's about, but she knows it's him once she revives him. Like, so maybe it wasn't him or who he was before, you know?
Or maybe he's a new man with many faces and she can't quite pinpoint it. She just sees what she wants to see.
Yeah.
Because they say a lot of the Red Priest, I mean, a lot of them get stuff wrong because they try to see what they want to see. And, you know, the spirit's always giving the right message. They're just interpreting it wrong.
Yeah, could be.
Which kind of goes back to that thing. Was that really R'hllor talking in the flame when Bran was looking and then the Hound saw it and got their messages crossed or whatever? Is R'hllor going to come back? I mean, is that going to be explained? Is that going to be a big part of season 8, or is that just going to kind of get glanced over as part of a Melisandre escape?
You know, I don't know. I don't know if, because I think George R. R. Martin wanted, he doesn't want to acknowledge whether gods are real or not, right? I think he said something about that. I got to take more dog out and be right back.
It's all good. No problem. But yeah, I don't know. I think not only do I think he's not going to be 100 the same person, like Beric Dondarrion says he always comes back a little bit less when he gets revived. I mean, I think that there is a complete other entity inside Jon Snow. I think there's a reason why we didn't see Ghost, and that reason is either because Jon Snow's true spirit is in Ghost, surviving right now, and he's going to have to find a way to fight to, you know, get his body back from whatever's controlling it. Or it's just some other kind of spirit. Like, I don't know if it's R'hllor. I mean, if he's a Targaryen, it could be R'hllor because they're, you know, they are the fire, basically the fire people. So wouldn't they worship the fire gods? We really don't know. I mean, we just knew that Aegon the Conqueror came over to Westeros and basically tried to allow people to keep their own religions. And of course, that was kind of a problem, and we had to deal with that. But we didn't really hear about what Aegon's religion is, so that could come back to, I mean, Targaryen are, you know, fire and blood. It would kind of make sense that Targaryens followed the Red God. So there could be all sorts of crazy stuff coming back with that. And coming back to, like I keep saying, my new theory and what I'm coming back with, or what I've been dabbling with is what if Jon Snow's not even a Targaryen? And I know that's just like everybody's like, get the hell out of here, but I don't know. Why was Arthur Dayne outside the Tower of Joy with Lyanna and nobody else? Yeah, our prince and king told us to. Whatever. You don't have the greatest warrior on the planet not fighting by your side in such a major and important war. You just wouldn't, unless they're like, we have no chance, or this war doesn't matter. We have bigger prophecies that we have to deal with. So you stay here and make sure that this prophecy, the baby, is guarded and okay. And because, you know, like I said, this war means nothing. It's all about the bigger picture. Because maybe this baby is what it's going to take to stop the long night from happening when the Night Kings comes with all his frozen weekend warriors coming through the wall to take everybody down. I don't know. You hear any of that, Andy? Yeah,
that's what I was going to say when you brought that up. That he would be down there if Rhaegar went selfless and was like, hey, you know, this is more important than me. Like, I realized I'm not the person from the prophecy my kid is, so you need to be down there. You need to do this. Or if he truly loved Lyanna, and he was worried that, you know, Robert would go after the kid and her.
But why would Robert really ever go after her? I mean, can that really be one of the considerations? Robert was never going to kill or hurt Ned's sister and the supposed love of his life. I don't think that's even an option.
Yeah, but if you're looking at it from our point of view, but if you're looking at it from Rhaegar's point of view or Lyanna's, and Lyanna knew what kind of dude he was. God damn it, just had a brain fart on his name.
Robert. Yeah, he was jealous, but again, I think they all know that that's Ned's best friend for life, and I don't think that would ever be a problem. B4Z says, yeah, JD, George uses his experience with religion to highlight the good and the bad. Yep, the 7 is crazy. Bubba Husky, if someone in A Song of Ice and Fire is to be another Azor Ahai, it's Gendry. He's the only one who can forge a sword. Interesting. I like that. I like that. I think it might. What if Azor Ahai is Jon? And the waters that he got was basically egret. And the lion that he got, maybe he's going to have to, I don't know, do something with Cersei. And then the last one is going to be him killing his love because he's going to get her pregnant and she's going to die in childbirth, which will be Dany. Obviously. So, yeah, I don't know. That's gonna all that madness. Can't wait to see the big meetup at Winterfell and how that all goes down. I hope they don't just gloss over that too much because there has to be some situations rounded out. Because there's gonna be some people. Jaime Lannister walking through the gates. Are you kidding me? It's just gonna be madness. Dany shows up. Oh, is that the dragon that burned my dad and brother alive? Nice to meet you. It's gonna be just juice. Can't wait to see some of these meetups.
Yeah, well, I don't know that Sam would do anything. Sam's Sam, so I don't know.
Like I said, you start talking about little brothers and sisters, you can get some whole new feelings. Sam's the Slayer. Look how juiced he got when he had to protect Gilly. Now you're talking about his own little brother that he did truly love. I mean, maybe he's got a little resentment because he's the one who got pushed out for his little brother, but I think he pushes that more on his dad. I don't think he blames Dickon for that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Cammy, there's so many other things that are so obvious about this. You think Jon being Azor Ahai is really too obvious? I don't know. It might be right on the button for the show. You never know. It says, question, do you think there will be a blood betrayal? A blood betrayal. I guess Jon betraying Sansa since they share the same blood. It's possible. There's no Azor Ahai in my book. It's just a foolish coping method in the past rather than it being one being. Azor is multiple legends placed into one like King Arthur. It could be. You never know. It could be. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, that definitely could be all, I don't know. But I always thought, I think that's right because my theory, my hypothesis would be that, and this is what I've always thought since the beginning. Since I heard the Azor Ahai prophecy, it was that that's how Valyrian steel was made. And it's just some grand story about how Valyrian steel's made. And me and Milt went into some big thing about this, about after a stream one time, about how the Targaryens, or not the Targaryens, the original houses, they could have, just how the Lannisters treat the lesser houses, right? Everybody treats their lesser houses like shit, right? Even the Paynes. So, what's his name? Tyrion's little dude. He's from a lesser Payne house. So he got treated like shit the whole time, right? So, the thought is that they needed Targaryen blood to form these Valyrian steel. So they had to use that kind of blood magic to make it. So they would sacrifice the lesser houses, babies from them, I think. That's how they made so much Valyrian steel. Because we were going into I told Milt this, and Milt was like, well, if that's the case, they would have to kill a bunch of people because there's a lot of Valyrian steel. And I'm like, yeah, but there's all these other minor houses from the main Valyrian houses. And maybe the Targaryens were one of them. They're like, fuck this. The real reason they're leaving is we're out of here. We're not having all our babies killed for this shit.
Does it have to be certain king's blood in there, or is it just anybody? It could be any.
I think because of the king's blood, just like Melisandre needs king's blood, it makes a difference. I think that's why, and it has to do with Valyrian blood. They just call it king's blood, but it's really Valyrian blood. That's why I thought that That's why how they're making Valyrian steel is you needed the Valyrian blood and using the blood magic to do it.
Bubba Husky says the worshippers of R'hllor are a slave culture. I don't think it's a coincidence that this hero is a smith, a symbol for diligence and hard work to keep the slaves working. I like that tie-in. Not mentioned in the show. R'hllor's mentioned in the show a few times.
Yeah.
Melisandre brings up his actual name a few times. What's JD singing up here? Don't think so. The idea this won't happen. You think there's a... Yeah, R'hllor. Where does Melisandre come back? Is she going to be a part of this big meetup at Winterfell? Is that where she comes back? Because Davos says, if I see you, I'll kill you. And she's basically sentenced to death if she comes back. So, and she said she's going to die in this land just like Varys is. So do Varys and Melisandre both get killed at Winterfell this season?
Yeah, I think they're done. I think Melisandre, she does know. We've seen that, like, R'hllor can do shit. That's the thing. Like, some of the shit seen in the Flames does happen. We don't know how much is exactly accurate, but we know that the Hound saw it and shit. He spoke out loud what it was, and they went and saw it. So I think she can predict shit. She's right. But
she can. So is that where she dies, is Winterfell, or is it going to be some other situation? Is it going to be like a Battle in the Night King situation, and that's how she dies?
Yeah, they would not necessarily. They don't have to be mutually exclusive. I don't think she could die in Winterfell against the Night King.
That's true. So you don't think if Davos sees her before that all goes down, that Davos is too good a guy, he wouldn't just kill her, would he? Or would he be like, that was my girl and you burned her, you got to go?
I don't know. I think he would kill her. You know, he could kill somebody. I don't know if he could kill a woman, but I'd hope that he would be able to.
I don't know. I don't know if Davos could just go up and kill her. I think the wounds were still pretty fresh when he was going off about that. He's had some time a lot's happened since then, and bigger pictures, and he's got Missandei on the mind. So I don't know. Does Grey Worm make it through this? I am blown away that Grey Worm's still alive. Does he make it through the season? Does he actually live through this?
I don't know. I don't think so, but I don't think most people make it through. I put on somebody's Twitter the other day, like, if you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention. I really believe that.
Well,
all these theories that, like, people are going to make it, I just think none of them.
Well, with Grey Worm being unsullied, there are no true happy endings, right?
Well, I don't know. Yeah?
Do y'all think Jaqen will be back in season 8? Jaqen Hagar, they really liked him and kept bringing him back. He might make an appearance as some kind of mini. I'll bet he does. Arya will be doing something, and Jaqen will show up out of nowhere, like, for some reason. 3 wishes, 3 lives, something like that. I mean, has Arya gotten her 3 wishes already? She's actually gotten more than that, so maybe he shows up to save her one more time. What do you think? Does Jaqen Hagar make an appearance in season 8?
I would like to see him, but I don't think he does. Even though, like, I think that's, that was a significant part of the story. They're probably just, going to use it as Arya's part. No need to explain everything.
Is Arya going to be like where they end it with the Faceless Men, or is the Faceless Men going to play any more of a part, or is it just going to be through Arya, or are we just done with the House of Black and White altogether?
I think it's just through Arya. As much as I would like to see the Faceless Men and shit in the show, I think they're done. Like, it's, they're done. But in the book, I think they're legit coming. They're going to be significant.
Oh, in the book, yeah, there's so much more to go because it kind of seems like that's where it all started. the Targaryens and, you know, the Seven Flames and the doom of Valyria and the, you know, the slaves being, you know, given the gift. So yeah, I mean, House of Black and White's gonna have to play a significant part in the book before it's over. A lot has to be explained in that. B4 says another question: what the hell are Dothraki if they live? They're in a land they don't know and can't really even speak the language. I'm sure they've been working on languages. I mean, they had Missandei on Dragonstone with nothing to do for quite a while, so I'm sure she was given some Westerosi lessons there for a while. But
oh man, no, you got to think about how big the Dothraki army is now after Dany went and rode the dragons and the dragon and shit. Now the army's too big. It's not like Missandei can be given lessons like, oh, you guys sit down. This is how you no.
Oh, it's college. It's straight up college up on Dragonstone. They're going to school.
The
and Missandei teaching, they're all listening.
The Dothraki are gonna die too. They're all gonna die, and it's gonna be the fucking ghost grass. This is their ghost grass story.
They're the ghost grass because they keep expanding and living too big, or the White Walkers?
No, the White Walkers. I'm pretty sure that's what that story is about. If their whole everything revolves around horses, their long night story would be about the ghost grass. That makes sense. Like. That the White Walkers would be ghost grass.
The Dothraki are going to repopulate Dorne. Cameo, Team Night King. I know you're not the only one. I believe my man JD the Dragon is Team Night King as well. You are not alone. Oh, that's awesome. He said repopulate Dorne in one night. I mean, there's a lot of empty space up there, but I mean, I guess that they got to put the wildlings somewhere too. Yeah, that is two massive amounts of armies that just came walking through out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have the gift for that'll help populate a lot of the wildlings, and you know, you got the Dread Fort that you're gonna have, and you got the 9 castles across or 11 castles across the wall that are still empty. So I mean, they have a place to put some of them, but yeah, it's starting to fill up. Food supply is going to be growing short in old Westeros, even if they do make it through. They need the freaking Night King to come through and thin some of this out. Bubba Husky is Team House Overton. JD says Night King Firewolves and the dragons. Fuck the humans. Oh, yeah. Frosty grass and the white in the morning. Yeah, that could be. I mean, the grass is going to take over the world. The ghost grass is going to take over the world, and that's basically the White Walkers coming. They're the ghost grass growing exponentially and taking over. I like that theory, actually. That's pretty clean.
Everybody has their stories. Like, you don't. I know you don't read the first books over again, so you wouldn't catch that. But if you did, you would immediately, like how it's described, you would immediately like, oh yeah, that's like the White Walkers coming in, you know, freezing everything, killing everything, because that's how it's described.
Makes sense. I like that. Yeah, I'm waiting until after season 8, and then I'll start back in and do another reread of the books. But yes, he's right. On my 3rd reread, I just went ahead and started with my favorite, A Storm with the Swords, and went from there because it's just so fun, and there is so much in there. Love that one. And speaking of theories, so we were talking, I was on my man JD's channel the other night, and I was just asking you. So you said, I think 100% Varys is a Blackfire. So let's start with that. Are you on board with that, or just kind of 50-50, or what do you think about that situation? Is Varys a Blackfire? And if not, what's his tie to the Targaryens?
I'm going to ride the fence on this one and say he could be.
You're gonna pull a BBM, really?
Yeah, well, it's not. It can't be definitive. I think there's evidence, like him choosing Aegon or to sit the Iron Throne, because we don't really know what he wants. We don't know all his motives. That's the problem. But try to think of a reason. Why would he want this one person to do it? Like, maybe he truly does care about the realm, and he just wants to keep some fucking country without a bunch of magic. Because if you think about it, this country, or like Westeros, has like walled off all the magic. Like, White Walkers are magic up north. Like, they built a giant wall to get rid of that magic. They have a whole system where the Maesters are like, yeah, magic's not real, right? So maybe he just loves Westeros because he's like, I don't want no magic in this bitch. And I'm just so traumatized from magic that I don't want it anymore.
I'm done with the magic scene.
So I'll make this land without magic prosper. But, I mean, that's unrealistic. But
as long as there's a red comet cruising through the sky, there's going to be magic rolling. And it's going to get nothing but deeper because we got my man coming across from the Citadel, Marwyn. And, yeah, magic's just going to be coming up tenfold. We're going to figure out what was up with him and Mary Madur and find out some more about Valeria and, yeah, the Smoking Sea and all that stuff. It has to. Plus, Melisandre's going to come back, and we have to see what's going to happen with her situation.
Isn't that like a weird thing in the story anyway? Like, we're reading about the land Westeros where everything's just kind of, normal and almost like a time period show. And there's this whole other land where there's magic and shit going all crazy, all kinds of badass shit. We have to learn about the stupid Westeros. No.
I know George's got us on the wrong continent. We need to go brave those smoking seas and get over to Valeria. Check that out.
Yeah. I need to know what's going on over there.
That doesn't sound like a place I'd ever go or want to go or need to be anywhere near. I wouldn't even want to go to Bravos. It's like, I'm good. But speaking of, so my whole thing is just real quick with Varys is I believe he's a Blackfire. I believe that he is Sarah's brother, who we know Sarah is a Blackfire, and that's who Illyrio married. And Sarah and Illyrio had a kid because that's whose clothes Tyrion was wearing when him and Varys were going to see Dany. So we have some facts in there that I think pretty much tie that all in pretty tight. And, of course, the fact that when Varys was younger, he got sold. He was in the Playmaster, and he was quite good, and he was obviously really good because he's still doing it and playing all these roles in real life. But the master, or the Playmaster, the head of the troop, liked him, but the guy offered him so much, that wizard offered him so much money, he couldn't say no. So he ended up selling Varys to that guy, the wizard, warlock, whatever, chopped off his manhood, threw it in the fire, spoke to the fire, and the fire spoke back. Now, we know that there's magic in King's blood. Why would any of this happen? Why would this warlock want Varys specifically and pay so much money for him specifically and use his manhood blood in the fire and having the fire talk back? I mean, I don't know. It all shows up to me. Varys has to have King's blood, which ties into he's a Blackfire, which ties in he's Sarah's brother, la-di-da-di-da. So anyway, that's my whole thing with it. So that's why that's kind of his tie into the realm and why he comes back and actually cares about Targaryens. If he really cares about Targaryen, he might just have another idea to try to put a Blackfire on the throne. Now, basically, a Blackfire is just a bastard Targaryen. It's just he's got King's blood, but he wasn't, real royalty. Now that's a baby. What if Jon Snow really is Aegon? We heard in the books, and now I'm going to lose some of the show watchers, but in the books, we know Varys supposedly took one of the kids when the Lannisters were sacking King's Landing, and the Mountain came in and smashed the baby, pulled the baby from the crib, smashed supposedly Aegon's head against the wall, and then raped Ilya and killed the daughter as well. Well, what if Varys said that he snuck out? That's where the whole Aegon thing comes from. Varys supposedly snuck that baby out and switched it with another baby. What if he really did do that, and the baby that he swapped out was Jon Snow? And when Ned was coming back from giving back Dawn over at Starfell, he came back through King's Landing on his way back to Winterfell, and Varys told him what happened, and he's like, Ned, you're a good man. I know you're a man of honor. Robert will kill this baby. We need to hide him. So he took Aegon, a.k.a. Jon Snow, and gave him to Ned, and Ned took him back to Winterfell, and that's how that whole situation hooked up. Because I know that I keep saying there's a baby swap somewhere. Lyanna definitely had a baby, but there is a baby swap somewhere. I'm just trying to figure out where that baby swap went. And, you know, the whole show saying Jon was Aegon or whatever, why would Rhaegar name 2 kids Aegon? Maybe that really is Jon Snow is Aegon, and Varys grabbed him and gave him to Ned to take up to Winterfell to keep safe. What do you think about all that madness?
That could be. Hey, that's pretty legit. The only problem I see is like Ned didn't really trust Varys when he went down to King's Landing. He was mistrusting of Varys at first. So if he did that giant favor for him in the beginning, like I feel, and that he saved a Targaryen, you know, I think Ned would be more trusting of him right off the bat. But they do become pretty friendly pretty quick, so I don't know.
He is the one that comes into the black cells to try to talk to him. So, I mean, there might have been, seems like there would have been some kind of meeting or at least know each other from something other than just working together when Ned got there. But I don't know. But, or maybe Varys really did take Aegon. He was going to try to do this fake Aegon situation. Ned had just did the baby swap with Ashara and his sister, and he was coming in, and now there's a third baby swap, and Varys was getting ready to steal Aegon off through the docks. Ned was coming into the docks to get supplies to go up to White Harbor and get back to Winterfell. He spotted Varys, figured, you know, basically put him to the question, and Varys gave up the ghost like, hey, you know, this is what happened. I'm trying to save him, and Ned ends up taking him, and there's a baby swap right there. What? Let's go over to the chat. I bet they're just lit by now like this one.
You fucking crazy theories.
Yeah, I got to turn that off. I don't know why. My that chat thing, I was just in a hurry, like signing up a live chat or a live stream, and it just said, do you want this? And I just hit like okay to keep it going, and then I was like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have done that, because it was like a chat, like I don't know, I guess there's a way to guide that on how strict you want it to be. I just want it off. It's like, we got enough wrenches around here, we ain't got to worry about shit. It's like, let them say whatever they want to say. Let's see, let's go back up here. We got let's see, Bubba Husky says, if Varys was a great thief master of disguise, including glamours and travels, the Red Keep at will, using secret passages, then why is it so hard to believe that he could have swapped out a baby? Oh, there you go. Sounds like Bubba looking at the big side, big picture.
I mean, that's true, for sure. But, I don't know. Maybe he did. If he truly cared about, like, Targaryens, maybe he did. Maybe he steals like a Targaryen and makes them think they're a Blackfire. I don't know.
I'm just saying there's 100% a baby swap, and this is a way to definitely tie it all in.
Like
JD, what's that?
We talked about that last time, I think. Like, there's for sure a baby swap somewhere, because he introduces things just to make you more comfortable with it later on.
Right.
Like the incest with you know, Jamie,
Cersei, now Dany, and yeah. And I mean, cousins isn't a big thing, so in Westeros. So I don't know. Is aunts a big thing? I don't know.
It took you a long time to say in Westeros after that. Are you trying to tell us something, DJ? No,
I'm just saying, like, yeah, I don't understand. I mean, it's all weird to me, so I don't know, where do they draw the line in Westeros? Like, if cousins are okay, but aunts aren't. It's like, where is that line? I don't know. Because obviously Tywin married his cousin, and you know that never a peep about that, and all sorts of other people married their cousins without a peep. But the aunt thing, and people are all freaking out. But if Jon really is Rhaegar's son, Aegon, which I mean, I guess he is either way. So I mean, either way, it's still going to be his aunt. But or unless there's a baby swap, and somehow Dany and Jon were both born at the Tower of Joy, and Dany is a Dane, and Jon Snow is the Targaryen, and then that would be like I was just talking about, the third. There has to be a third baby in there, which I've always kind of said if Holland Reed was with Ned coming back, I mean, he would be coming back on that boat, stopping in at Westeros, and he would be coming back up to White Harbor, going with Ned back to the north, and then he'd just peel off and go back to Greywater Watch. So, I mean, it's just as feasible to me that maybe Varys really did. Why would he just save one kid? Why would he just save the boy? Why wouldn't he save the boy and the girl? And he took both babies out of there, swapped them in with peasant babies, and there are 2 Targaryen kids out there. And Ned took Jon, and Howland Reed took the girl. And we're going to find out. I don't know if it's Mira, but I think that's another reason maybe we haven't seen Howland Reed in the show or heard more about him in the books, is because he's raising the other kid that we don't know about yet. What do you think about that?
That's pretty good. Like I used to think that when it first came out, like why didn't, like if Ned really wanted to protect Jon, he would have sent him with Howland Reed, because basically no one goes to Greywater Watch. Like it's basically its own thing. Like everybody disrespects him, but whatever, at least the kid would be safe there. Like there's no chance that anybody's going to find the kid you're trying to protect in Greywater Watch. That's the thing. There is a slim chance.
But can you raise a king there? I mean, if it was Aegon and he's supposed to be being raised as a king, wouldn't you want him with a higher lord like the Warden of the North and be more raised in Winterfell? Or is Winterfell just even farther away from Robert, and that just keeps him even safer that way? I don't know.
Like maybe he thinks he can protect him from Robert, but I don't know. I don't think Ned looks down on people like that. He wouldn't look down on.
He's not about looking down on Howland Reed. He loves Howland Reed like a brother. I think it's just more about keeping the kids safe. And Howland Reed can keep a girl safe easier, and Jon can protect a boy and keep him farther away. But I don't know.
Plus, if you lived with Howland Reed, you'd learn the magic frog powers.
Exactly. You know all about the poisons and spearing, and I mean, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe Mira is, because she's older than Jojen. So, I mean, Jojen, if he just grew up this whole time hearing that's his sister, he's not going to know any better, except for the fact that he's a green seer. So wouldn't he have known about that? Or maybe he did, and he just kept that to himself.
Yeah, but I think his is different, right? Like, it's not like he can do what Bran can do right now.
But he sees the future, and he sees things that are going to come, and it seems to be like he sees big things that are going to come, and that seems like a pretty big thing. So it seems like that would have been one of his visions.
Yeah, but it's not like his are always like you went to some fortune teller. Like they tell you an abstract thing, and then you find what you want in it. Right, like when he talks about the sea coming to Winterfell and all that shit. Well, that's pretty abstract. You could be like, "Hey, the Greyjoys are going to attack," so it's not exactly precise. Like,
oh, I'm sorry. I was just reading in the chat. In the show, I believe that Gilly's baby has been swapped every season because that motherfucker hasn't aged in 3 goddamn seasons. That is so true. But yeah, what were you saying? I'm sorry, what were you saying? I just got
I don't remember.
All right.
It's me we're talking about here.
Yeah, exactly. We just keep it moving. But yeah, so do you think there is, I mean, we're talking, so you think there is a chance that Howland Reed is raising another baby? There's a third baby and Howland Reed's raising it? What percentage on a 1 to 100 do you give?
Are we talking about the show?
Show or book, either way. Do you think that's plausible?
It's plausible in the book. It's not plausible in the show, I don't think. That's too much. There's only you got to consider how much show is left or not. I don't think
we haven't seen. I mean, maybe they're just cutting out Starfall, but to me, this whole thing is going to get answered in what happened at Harrenhal and what went down at Starfall. So I think once we see those 2 things, when they write about it in the book, that's going to be all our answers, or 90% of them. But the show, it's like, does the show have time to bring Starfall into it with what's going on? I mean, they already cut out Dorne and the whole Dark Star thing and all that. But Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's gonna be crazy. What can they get sewed up in 6 episodes? It's driving me nuts. What can they really do in 6 episodes that makes anybody happy with how it gets tied up?
Well,
and even if they are an hour and a half long, how there's so much. There's so much.
yeah, but I was thinking, as I rewatch stuff, I'm like, oh, I know stuff happens this episode, and at the beginning of the episode, I'm like, there's no way. How I know that they get to this in this episode, but there's so much shit that happens in between. How do they get to that? Somehow they do. Sometimes I underestimate what they can get into a show. So I don't want to say they can't do anything, but you know that they're going to have like at least one episode where it's just like a full-on battle the whole episode. So,
oh yeah, they're definitely going to have a Battle of the Bastards type episode or a Hard Home type episode for sure. Maybe even 2 with this White Walker situation.
So you got to take one away for just that. So that leaves, even if you do 2, so then what? You're left with 4 episodes with all story that you can have. So you think that you can wrap up the story from the show, the show story, in 4 hours? 4 solid hours.
I mean, and you're bringing in the Golden Company, which is going to have offshoot stories of its own. Unless they just come in and get wiped out and nothing gets talked about or explained or anything with that, which can you do that?
Yeah, maybe they just need more peons like to get killed. You know,
with all the wildlings and all the Dothraki, I mean, you'd think they have enough extras.
Well, didn't a lot of the wildlings get wiped out at the wall? Like, how many were up there?
Wildlings at the wall?
Yeah, at East.
Well, we never saw them because a lot of them are supposed to be in gates down in the Gift, basically.
Gotcha.
But I mean, they were streaming through the wall when they were standing there with Jon Snow. I mean,
well, what I mean is, like, Jon sent them up to the wall to guard it, right? At Eastwatch. How many of them went there?
He split them up. Depending on the book of the show, he split them up all the way across the wall, all throughout the wall. But there's still a ton more down in the Gift. And, of course, more sneaking out every day. I mean, there's a bunch of people that just aren't going to sit there and stay in, like, they're going to go. I don't care what you say. I'm sneaking off in the middle of the night and go see what this land has to offer. We're on the other side of the wall. Let's get it. That's what I would be doing. I wouldn't be sitting there taking one apple a day. What is it? You have a choice, an apple or an onion a day? Shit. I'm about to go get a stag.
For sure.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they tie that up. I mean, they can't just tie up even in the show, they can't just tie up the R+L=J situation with Bran doing a monologue staring into a fire. I'll just puke. It's got to be more than that. So, where does it come from? Where does that go? Do they spend an entire show talking about Jon's heritage? I mean, Ned was supposed to talk about it the next time they met up. It's obviously supposed to be a thing that has to come up. They can't just do it in a Bran fire monologue. How are they gonna? How does it get broken down? Do you think?
I think it gets told like it, but it's going to be used as like a point of to sow distrust. Like Dany realizing that there's like that technically Jon would be the heir to the Iron Throne. Does that like cause distrust with her or conflict between the two of them? More secret meetings, but I don't know. Maybe it's just something that Jon can dismiss. Like this whole time, it's like one of those things that it's not really about the ending, but it's about the ride getting there. Like everybody believing that's his parents, and then you kind of get that payoff. But in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter because if Jon doesn't care, then it doesn't matter.
It has to matter just in the fact of what a big deal they make about there's magic in King's blood. So that's got to play some kind of factor at ending the Night King, doesn't it? I mean, why would they make such a big deal about magic and King's Blood? It's not just to grab leeches and stare into fires, is it?
Well, maybe it's like a truce. Maybe Jon's a truce between the North, like the First Men and the Valyrians, and stuff. So it's like a truce. I don't know.
I'm mostly prepping for all the great dialogue between Dany and anyone who doesn't know her 101 titles.
For sure. For sure.
That would be the greatest thing ever. She tried to pull that shit when she walked into Winterfell, and she's like, "I'm Daenerys Stormborn." Yeah, and somebody just like smacks her with a snowball or some shit. Like nobody gives a shit. Move on. That would be awesome. That would be. Or at least go to throw a snowball and then drag on fucking fireballs it and it doesn't hit her. But yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
It's a shame that Tyrion killed his dad, because that would be a great interaction between them two. Like where she's saying all her titles and he's like, yeah.
He's like, get over yourself. Oh, man. Cammy loves Gendry too, but there won't be an Arya Gendry hookup. What? What do you think about that? I'm going to step out for a second, but what do you think about the connections? Do you think who does Sansa hook up with, and do you think that Arya and Gendry end up hooking up? I'll be right back.
Well, I'm of the opinion that everything goes to shit and nobody hooks up, but it would be cool to see Gendry and Arya, but I don't know. There's too much foreshadowing. Like either Arya's gonna die or she's not gonna become a lady. Where she's like, "That's not me," or "That's not you" to Nymeria and stuff. So I don't think she ends up with anybody, but it would still be cool. I mean, she clearly likes Gendry, even though she didn't want to be a lady. Maybe she's just growing up and she's like, "Oh, yeah, pound that hammer." But, I don't know. And then Sansa, I feel like Sansa turns into like a Cersei and shit. Like she's going to be vindictive and she's playing the game. She learned how to play the game, and she's probably going to get some people killed with that, like trying to play the game once she learns about Jon, or maybe that's where that comes in, is like Jon's lineage. Sansa wants some of that. I don't know. It's weird. I don't like shipping anyway, so.
Did I hear you say that Sansa's going to turn into Cersei? So she's basically going to start getting it on with Bran? She's going to start sleeping with her brother?
Jon. She's going to want Jon because he's king. He's going to be the rightful king.
But he's not king. He already bent the knee. So now the most he can hope to be is Warden of the North.
Yeah, that's when he was king of the North. I'm talking about king.
Oh, king of everything.
The real king. So once she sees that, like, she's gonna want some of that, and I feel like she's gonna get people killed because she's playing a game, and it's Jon's like, this is a real thing where they're not negotiating, but they kind of been playing up her character, so maybe she does some good. I don't know. You guys in your relationships.
Like, I'm not shipping nobody. Yeah, I don't know. What was your final theory on Arya and Gendry hooking up?
I don't think she does, because that's not her. But whatever. I think.
What ends up happening with my man Sweet Robin?
Hopefully he slips and falls out the moon door. I don't know.
He says, I don't know. Even what happens. All right, JD, thanks for stopping in. I know you got to work tomorrow. We will definitely see you on the flip side and talk to you soon, brother. Thanks for stopping in, my man. What
Oh, Tyrion's not going to be alive by the end. Oh, well, maybe he'll be alive, but I think she's not technically married if they didn't consummate, right? And it's not official until then, at least. And then, sorry, I'm answering base question.
That's all good.
Or a statement. And then I got to defend my point. Damn it. Yeah, but I don't think it counts, Tyrion. And I think that Tyrion, like that meeting with Cersei, I don't know. Tyrion's down to betray people. I think he really wants to be a Lannister. Like, no matter how much he jokes about it and stuff, like he just wants his family to want him or appreciate him, or he cares about his family, even if they don't care about him. So I think he'd be willing to betray Daenerys if he thinks that she's going to be too crazy, in order he's going to choose the crazy family over his crazy non-family.
I think he's going to betray him regardless. What do you think? What kind of pact, or what do you think Tyrion told Cersei to make Cersei come back out and even talk to, when they're having the big meeting in the dragon pit? Tyrion and them, I mean, after he stood his ground and she didn't kill him, they sat there and he drank and they talked, and there were some things discussed, some big things discussed, especially when he found out that she's now pregnant. So what kind of little plans did they hatch back there, do you think?
That's what I'm saying, that betrayal, that planning to betray her. Like, I don't know, maybe he told her about the dragons. I don't know. I don't know what he would have unless he's down to betray Daenerys. Like, there's no reason that Cersei should sit there and listen to him or give in. He doesn't have anything to give her, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's always something, but
no, it would have to be like Daenerys, or that's all it could be, right?
Which one? Now, what are you talking about?
He could betray Daenerys. Like, the only reason, yeah, that's the only option.
Unless he betrays blood and he made a pact with Cersei and betrays her.
Well, I mean, but if we're talking about what he talked about, like, that's what he's talking
with her, yeah. Well, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying with betraying Daenerys there. Yeah, I mean, there has to be something there, or Jon and Daenerys, or that whole pact, act like you're in it, and then in the end, try to way to flip it back and give it back to the family. But how? What is that scheme going to be? How would that even happen? And I mean, if he's got to be on point, like there are White Walkers and these things coming. Is he really trying to go big picture and think about what's going to happen afterwards? I'd be thinking about, how do we even get to afterwards? That's a pretty big jump. You think there's any way Sansa dies this season? It seems like all the Starks, when their direwolves died, they died, except for Bran. But Bran's kind of, I mean, he said he's no longer Bran, so in a way, he's kind of dead too. So Lady's dead. Sansa still made it this far. Is there anything that's going to happen in that situation?
I think maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be a real death. Like, maybe it's like your death of your character, which typically would be a death. Like, but for her, hers died at the beginning. She's no longer a Stark, is like her thing. Everybody else was still Starks when their wolves died.
How is she not a Stark? She's the one that came back and got Winterfell back. She's the Starks.
She's either a Bolton or a Lannister. So,
but the fact,
she doesn't.
How the Westerosi lawyer was in that situation.
But I mean, not necessarily like a name, but she becomes like a Cersei, and it's not about that. Do we have a Stark, right? That every Stark has an example of someone they're similar to. right? Think of all the kids, except for like Sansa, Bran the Builder, Ned and Jon, Arya and what's her name, and then
Arya and Lyanna,
and then Rob and Ned's brother.
I would say Rickon and Ned's brother.
Yeah, that's true. Rickon and Ned's brother. So then you got to think of Rob. Like who's
I would
Rob?
say Rob. Maybe Rob was like the king that knelt, or not even the king that knelt. Maybe he's like Ned's dad.
Yeah. So everybody has this person except Sansa.
Yeah, Rob is definitely like Ned's dad because they both went and got killed. So yeah, I would put them two together. So yeah, and Rickon's like Brandon, you know, both wild wolves. Arya's like Lyanna. I like that. Yeah, and Sansa was more like her mom. Sansa's not even a Tully, but almost a Went, which kind of gets into some other crazy stuff because, yeah, the Wents and Harrenhal and that whole situation is another deep, deep, deep rabbit hole to be explored one day.
I don't know. Like I'm just throwing that out there, but it's just I think it's a symbolic thing, or maybe it's like what your thing is, your dire wolf is. Brands dies because it's summer and it's the end of summer. Sansa's dies because and she's no longer a lady. Like her idea of a lady is done.
But Rob, she still was a lady after that, though. I mean, even after her direwolf died, she still was a gullible, just.
But from that point, that's when it all starts to change. Like right after that, that point from when, she has this vision of like what the king is, or like what her prince is going to be.
Well, that's a slow progression from your wolf dying to by the time you saw your dad's head get snipped.
Well, no, she was already like she understood Joffrey right after that. So that was that situation. Is that where that begins? Is like, okay, the king isn't everything I thought it should be, but I still should be these other things. And from there, it's just, you know,
right.
I don't know.
I gotta say, B4, you are slaying it tonight. You are cracking me up. Sansa will be killed by Euron's big cock. At this point, I take Euron's speech as foreshadowing someone has to get his big cock. I agree wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. Somebody's getting it, and I don't think it was Cersei. Is that it? One, is Cersei pregnant? And two, if she is it Euron's or Jaime's?
She is pregnant, and it is Euron's. I don't know what I said last time you asked this, but I'm saying Euron this time because I'm indecisive. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe she's just faking it. It's a good thought.
Maybe she's faking. I don't know. Yeah, she could be. I thought maybe she was right off the gate, just basically trying to get Jaime to do what she wanted Jaime to do. But, I mean, she could be pregnant, and the Euron thing, if nothing else, we know they're together, so we know that bond is tighter than what's been shown on the show, regardless. So, does Cersei and Euron end up getting married this season?
If they both survive. I don't know. That depends on it. Does the Golden Company come to help them, or do they come help Dany and Jon?
It would seem like if the Golden Company comes in the show, it's because Euron went to go get them and bring them back, which would say that they're coming to help Cersei.
Yeah, but if they're like Westerosi Knights and old Blackfires and shit, like then they should care about the place, right?
Well, if Euron, they are, but if Euron says, I'm going to go back, come with me, we're going to take it over, I'm going to marry Cersei, I'll be your king, and I'll reinstate you all to your homes and castles and lands, that'd be one way he'd be able to get them over without even having to ban them.
Yeah, but if they know about the White Walkers, like if that comes out, like, holy shit.
Oh, I don't think he tell. I think he tells them about the Dothraki. I don't think he tells them about the White Walkers.
But does he tell them about Dany and her dragons?
I think they would know because they're coming from the same place Dany just came from. So I'm sure that's already well known about.
So if they have that opportunity to like get, no, if it's me and I'm going on the side with like people running or the people in fighter jets, I'm going on the fighter jets.
You are, but I mean that situation's happening. I mean that's breaking down in the book anyway. There's basically a battle of fire over in Marine. I mean Barristan's over there. Dany's not there, but Barristan's still got everything up in check, and all those other people are trying to sack the city. So I mean there's still a bunch of people over there going to war against somebody who potentially could show up with dragons. So they're not all super scared or worried about that for some reason.
I don't know. I would be worried.
I would too.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know that the Golden Company actually comes and helps them out rather than helping Dany and Jon.
You think they're coming over to help Dany and Jon?
Well, yeah, if you take, what's his name? Like, if he has something to do with it, I don't know. Danny's boy toy, whatever his name was.
Oh yeah, Dario.
Yeah. So Dario ain't no ruler. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, she figures they're gonna throw. She figures as soon as she leaves, probably with all her people, they're gonna take back the city anyway, and Dario's just gonna have to flee.
Yeah. So he's Golden Company. And if he's in part of the Golden Company, then...
Well, he has his own band. He's got his own Stormcrows.
Yeah, but so if they join the Golden
Company...
I think if they're bringing people... If they're bringing in the Golden Company, who's only been mentioned a few times in the show, then it probably has something to do with him. Or Faceless Men. Some way of them getting over here explained.
Or yeah, they could just team up, like they're trying to get as many people as they can. And he's like, "Oh, you're going back to see my queen? Yeah, I mean, my company will jump on. We'll fight with you," just as an excuse to get back to Dany. That makes sense. Cameo says, "I heard Euron has an even crazier bro in the books. Forgot his name. Starts with a V." Oh yeah. Haven't read the books, just know a lot of readers. Yep, Cardinal already answered that. Victarion is one of the biggest pimps in the book. He is a superstar, and his story is major. So, yeah, I can't believe that they cut him out because he's basically, other than Asha, the only good Greyjoy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's sick. Well, I mean, obviously now Euron, he's going to be a great character. They're saving his character in the show. And in the books, he is the most vicious. But yeah, that's a big difference. Big difference. So you really think that the Golden Company's coming over to do a flip on Cersei and help Jon and Dany, huh?
Yeah, because in the books, like they talk about, okay, this is the Golden Company, right? They what was it? They gave up or whatever. They left with their contracts or whatever. They stopped fighting for whoever they paid them. Can't think of the right words.
So, yeah, some contracts are written in gold, others are written in blood.
So that is already set up, like the mention, that they have done that. So maybe they do that in the show as well. But not over in Essos. They just do it here. So I don't know. I honestly don't know what's going to happen. It's hard to tell. Like,
well, that's the beauty of it. That's the fun of speculation.
Yeah, but it's like more when there's more clues to it. Like when stuff makes logical sense. Like it's fun to make that to guess on that, but. I feel like the show lately hasn't been making as much logical sense, so it's harder to predict what's going to happen. Like they might bring somebody in, and you have no idea who they are, but you're supposed they're going to pretend like you do, and then they do these things. So, I don't know.
How lazy do they get? How
Yeah, that's
lazy
the
do
question.
they get? That can't be, man. Hour and a half shows, putting all this money into it. They gotta bring it back. They're gonna end with a thunder, man. They're gonna bring the love. We're gonna be like, what? Like that can't even be. Or certain people like that's gonna go way different in the books. But I think we'll all be looking like you gotta be kidding me and like laughing with a smile. Like, all right, I'll take that ending. I'll take that because they have to get to the same place. The books and the show have to end in the same spot, so the ending's got to be tight. You know, they've talked to George about it.
Mm.
He's like, giving him a little too much credit.
Yeah, I think you are, but I mean, it might all work out.
I think they will. I think they have to. I mean, this is it. Their legacy. They've got to leave it all in the field. There's nothing to save it for. Nothing left. Time to get it in. Leave it all out there. Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty crazy. And I think, and of course the actors have to say what they have to say, but aren't they already coming on saying like, oh my God, didn't see that ending coming. You're all going to be blown away, which they're going to say regardless, but it gives me hope.
I don't know. You guys follow it more than me. Like,
yeah, I haven't followed it too much, but I did hear something about that or read that somewhere. Yeah, I've been spoiler free for 2 years. Usually you guys are the ones that have to stay quiet.
Yeah, but there hasn't been like no good spoilers, so
good.
I'm not good for you, not good for me. I don't have that kind of patience.
Oh man,
I might have made it. Like, who knows? Like I said, I'm fickle. I might make it halfway through the season and give up on the whole show, and then just wait for someone on YouTube, and I'll just.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put 100% bullshit on that one. Like no way you quit this show. Ever.
I will quit shows.
Oh, no, you would have quit it back in season 5 if you were gonna quit it. You're stuck for the duration now. What's up, chat? What is the percentage that Andy doesn't make it all the way through all 6 episodes this season? I'm gonna say 0%. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, you have my HBO now. You'll be able to see how far I made it in. So if you catch on later and I only have like halfway through one episode, I gave up. I'm like, all right, that's enough for me.
Yeah, when we're all on talking about it afterwards, it'd be like, I don't know. I didn't see it. I don't know what happened.
I'm just watching you to get the cliff notes because I couldn't stand to watch it. I just want to know what happens at the end.
Oh, shit. But yeah, back to one last thing I wanted to say about what I'd name this whole thing. What if Jon really is Aegon? I was talking to somebody about it, and they're like, well, it doesn't explain why Jon has black hair. And that is what made me think about the Varys switch, and maybe he really is the Aegon that got switched out, because if he was Rhaegar's and Elya's kid, he could very much be, have that Dornish blood and have the black hair from Elya. So it does one more thing to back up that Jon is Aegon, the original Aegon, not just a second kid named the same name.
Could be.
I really like that. I think in the books for sure, that might be where the switch happens. I mean, it happens obviously somewhere between Tower Joy, Starfell, and Winterfell. I mean, not Winterfell, well, Winterfell, but King's Landing. So between Tower and Joy, Starfell, and King's Landing, there's at least one baby swap, maybe 2. Because Ashara Dane, the most beautiful woman in the land, that the head woman of Starfell, basically, and everything in the world going, isn't just going to jump to her death for nothing. I mean, I don't think she did jump to her death. I think she's still alive. But there's some stuff going on. But the thing that would make her freak out and do something drastic or give that crazy of a story would be somebody stealing her baby that she just had. There's a lot of blood in that bed at Tower of Joy, so there could have been 2 women and 2 babies for sure.
Could be. But what if... Okay, so what if the kid in... what... Brotherhood Without Banners, like that dude...
Gendry?
No. Like the one that
Edric Dane?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the books. That's the book.
You add him in there. Right? So then you could swap. You have an extra person to take
Absolutely. That could be the third one.
So then you can have a baby swap where John, it really is Aegon, and then Rhaegar and Lyanna's kid could be down in Dorne. Well, he could be part of the Brotherhood now. Then you have a swap there.
But that whole Edric Dane situation didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, because basically he's the Lord of Starfell. Or he will be the next Lord of Starfell. So what's he doing running around with these vagabonds that are just basically lordless and have no place to go? He has a place to go. He's got one of the best castles in the realm. So what's he doing out here with these bums slumming? I mean, that whole situation doesn't add up. And then telling Arya that him and Jon are milk brothers, I believe that. I think they were milk brothers. So okay. I mean,
take away Arya, or take away Elia's, or wait. God damn it, Rhaegar and Lyanna, and make it Ned and Ashara's. There you go. Then you can do it. You get your swap there.
I'm sorry, what was that again?
If make Edric not make him Ned's son with Ashara instead of Rhaegar and Lyanna's kid. And then you have it. Or maybe that kid's Aegon.
If Ned and Ashara had Edric Dane?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then he would have... Well, no, because why would Ashara jump off? If Ned and Ashara, unless she was just so upset that she couldn't be married to him and just killed herself out of love for her love, but that makes no sense. That didn't happen. So if that was if Edric Dane was Ned's son, then why? It does, why isn't he's just still in Starfell? It doesn't make sense.
Well, no, that would be Aegon. How about that? He's actually Aegon. Then Ned takes their kid up to Winterfell, and then she could kill herself then, because they talk about it in the books, the grief that Gilly's going through from the baby swap. She's grief stricken,
but she's not thinking about suicide. She's just
but maybe like she's
got another baby to raise.
Yeah, so
which Ashara would have another baby to raise. I'm saying that's like another reason to stay alive, is to make sure
that's not your baby. Like, some people are less strong than others.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think Ashara Dane's still alive. I just saw Bran the Builder put in one I've never heard, and man, I just love hearing stuff in this story I've never heard before. But he was like, "What if Lyanna is still alive? Could she still be Septa Lemore?" And I was like, "Whoa." Never even thought about Lyanna being alive, but I don't think that there's any way that happened. I mean, yeah, you'd want to, if she was still alive and she didn't want to have to deal with Robert's wrath. I mean, trust me, I could make a theory about that quick, but I just don't believe it myself. But yeah, I mean, it could be. She didn't want to have to deal with Robert's wrath, and she wanted to make sure she could watch her kid grow up, and yeah, there's all sorts of stuff you can put in there. But no, I don't think that. I think if Septa Lemore is anybody, I don't know. The fact that they say that how old she is, and Tyrion quotes and talks about how beautiful she still is and how nice her body still is, that just leads me to believe that she was one of the most beautiful maidens in the land earlier. Who have we heard that was one of the most beautiful maidens? Ashara Dane. So I think that would be that tie-in. So I believe Septa Lemore is Ashara Dane. Not a lot of people think maybe Quaithe too. Now that would be cool. What if Lyanna was, had Stark blood and green dreams and knew about stuff and was magical? So Lyanna went off and she went with Marwyn, and she was part of all that with Mary Mazdur and Marwyn, and learned all that, and she became Quaithe. That would be kind of sick. Remember who you are, Daenerys Targaryen, because she was friends. That'd be kind of sick, because she was friends with Ashara, who was Dany's real mom, because she's one of the babies that got switched. Oh, it gets crazy. So far down the rabbit hole.
Could be. I mean,
That would make as much sense as any.
I mean, right?
Because we have it that people can see into the future already. So, if she has that ability, then that would make sense. Like a lot of things, like how does Quaithe know all this stuff? Like certain things, like make her predictions, and she knew about Jorah and about the betrayal and shit. Like she knew that he did that. So how did she know that?
Right.
That's as good as any. That's what I mean. You have way crazier theories than that. So
he's like, that's one of my more plausible ones. Shit.
Yeah, like I can
half-ass get behind that one.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's awesome. Cammy will be up all night. Party, grab a drink, kick it, talk some Game of Thrones. Oh, B4 says Lyanna is too dumb to think of that. What makes you think that Lyanna is dumb? I don't think she was dumb at all. She was the Wild Wolf female style version. She was fierce and smart and strong. I think Lyanna was a titan. But we don't know that much about her, so that is definitely just an opinion. Shira and Mel's mother is my take on Quaithe for now. Shira and Mel's mother, huh? Shira Seastar. So you're saying Shira Seastar and Melisandre are sisters? I've never heard that either. That would be something. You know it, Cammy. Yeah, I don't know about that. Have you ever heard anything about that? Shira Seastar and Melisandre being sisters or related in any way?
No, that's new to me.
I mean, other than they're both magical females on the show, I've never heard that. That's tying one in. That's another one I haven't heard. I like that. But those are, I mean, you can't even say that they're generations apart because Melisandre's hundreds of years old for all we know. So it could be. Or do you think, is there any way that Shira Seastar is Quaithe? I know a lot of book readers think that. I think Shira Seastar, the one who Bloodraven was in love with when he was younger, they think that that's Quaithe, which that's feasible. I want to see Quaithe's face. I mean, if we don't know and it's somebody that far back or somebody we don't know, why does she have to hide her face?
Maybe the description would say, so who would have something distinctive about their face? That's why you get that Ashara Dane theory, is because you would notice if she was incredible, like the most beautiful person you ever seen, people would link that pretty quick. But
perhaps. Or is she just a faceless man and that she doesn't show the face, and when she opens it up, it could be Arya under there because Arya is dead, people. Arya has died multiple times. She is a faceless man, and she's dead. That is not Arya. She gone. It might even been, she might have been gotten by the little waif. That's why the lights went out. That was the waif that got her. She looked at Jaqen and she's like, a girl is Arya Stark and I'm going home. And Jaqen looked at her, is like, yeah, that's believable. Go do it. And then to seal the deal, she went and killed all the Freys. So everybody's like, oh, yeah, that must be a Stark. She got her vengeance. Now nobody will even question it, even though it's just Arya's face and she's really the waif.
And really, it was like Howland Reed that went and paid the faceless men to go get revenge on all the people.
That's where Howland Reed's been, is dealing with the faceless man?
Yeah, he's like, fuck these assholes. Go kill them all. I'll pay you half of all my shit. I don't have a bunch of shit, so it's easy.
Exactly. Or my shit's floating around, so you don't know how much shit I have. So I'll just tell you this is all I got. Now go get her done. That could be. Does Howland Reed show his face? Yes or no? Does he come back this season, or that was just a Tower of Joy thing, and that's all we get at Howland Reed?
I think we get him back somehow.
I think he comes back in a major way. Like I said, he is the one that was raising that other kid.
I mean, it could be.
I don't remember. Was it Aegon or his sister? Who was older? Rhaegar's kids. Was Aegon or his sister older? I can't remember.
I think the sister was older because remember Aegon's supposed to be the baby that gets his head smashed, right?
Yeah, he was the babe in the crib. So technically, I mean, if going with Dorne rules or if there's anything going on with Dorne things, then technically that would be the ruler of Westeros. Because that would be the oldest Targaryen. So maybe Helen Reed is truly raising the queen in the swamps, and they were just forward thinking and knew it would be a new day, and sooner or later a queen would rule.
I mean, that would be a good.
And they buttered it up because they're showing Cersei ruling, so they're showing that a queen could rule Westeros because Cersei's already trying to do it. So now they'll just knock her off the throne and bring in whoever, Helen Reed, the oldest sibling or the oldest child of Rhaegar, and that'll be the true king of Westeros.
They already set that up with like Dorne trying to get what's her name to be the queen instead.
Nice. Shout out to Bran the Builder. Thanks. Yeah, Rhaella is the daughter we're talking about. Rhaella Targaryen, the daughter, Rhaegar's daughter. And it said, yeah, she was older than Aegon. Aegon was an infant. So we dialed it in, but Bran right there for us. Love the chat coming in. Love the diehard readers. Always there.
But in the whole Dorne storyline, they're trying to get what's her name, Cersei's daughter to
Marcella. Yeah, they're trying to make Marcella queen.
So that's already set up, and they already said that like the when Aegon took over or whatever, that when Dorne said, okay, we'll fall under the crown, but we get to have our own rules. Our own rules apply. So maybe they set that up by having her marry Rhaegar. That was like the intention. Okay, so we're gonna get a queen on the throne if they're like our rules matter if she's the queen.
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, definitely a step in that direction for sure, 100%. So yeah, I like that.
So it would have been an option, like, because that was agreed upon. And now if you're getting married off, like.
And in the book, that could really happen because they've got so many sand snakes all spread out in super prominent areas. I mean, they've got one on the small council. They've got one up at the Citadel. I mean, they've got, sand snakes in real prominent areas that could be whispering in people's ears and getting people to start thinking certain ways about something. That could be the master Dorne. That could be the grand plan of Dorne, is getting a woman on the throne. That'd be a sick little twist because we already know George is a huge feminist. So, I mean, he could definitely have a big twist like that. Plus, Dany's coming anyway. So, basically, it's coming down to a queen's going to be sitting down regardless. So, maybe they were just forward thinking and they were trying to get there even before now. But now, I mean, there's a good chance it's going to be Dany, Cersei, or Sansa sitting on the throne. So, it could be moving in that direction.
For sure.
Arya has to have consequences for her actions. Only a handful of Frey men were involved in the Red Wedding. Robb had a Frey squire who was very loyal.
Yeah, but they sent him out. They sent him away because they knew the ones that weren't going to go along with it, they sent them out. They had no idea about it.
Right, in the books, they got rid of them and had them go off. Yeah, that is true. But yeah, I mean, they were all loyal to the Lord, and I mean, there were most of those guys were in on it because they were the ones outside slaying all the Stark men in the tents. So most of those guys were definitely in on it and guilty and good riddance. They knew they were doing some fuck shit. They did it anyway. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. But yeah, Arya just did it nice and quick. No blood, no big gory, no other needless people dying. Just slip them a quick drink and good night. Oh yeah, what's up? What's up, Ian? Good to see you again. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Thanks for everybody still here. Always love talking Thrones. I always wonder. It's like I'm a late night guy, so always wonder is like anybody still gonna be awake when I fire these up because this is like the time I'm down to do it and able to do it usually. So, bam. Let's see there's your baby swap. Rhaella was the older. Yes, there were innocent Freys. I don't think there were that many innocent Freys. Robb Squire was a Frey. We talked about that. He was out of there. There's your body swap. Where's the body swap? Maybe, oh, maybe Mira, maybe, but really, I don't see him becoming a person. I don't know. I really hope Howland Reed comes back and gets more explained, because they just kind of have him as a cheap shot. I'm not going to say sucker, because I think I was one of the first in the community after we got on right afterwards saying, hey, his liege lord was going down, and you got to go, you got to be there for your man. You're there to protect your lord, and he was about to die, so you go up there and you get and do whatever you got to do. I mean, there are no rules in love and war, and they were at war. That was that. In the books, is there going to be a Frey civil war? I do not think so. Once Walder Frey goes, you do have Big Walder and Little Walder and Black Walder. I mean, you got some nasty buggers who are probably all going to be wanting their little piece of the Frey pie, but you like that? I don't know. Civil War. There's a lot of Freys. But I don't know. I think a lot of them are going to get got in this whole Manderly Stannis situation in the books. I think Stannis and Manderlys are going to handle most of them. And then, of course, all the holes in the lake being dug. And so the Freys might just end up drowning and freezing half of them. So I don't know if there's going to be enough of them to worry about a civil war with them. What do you think about that, Andy?
Yeah, you're probably right with that. Like the old lantern or the fire, the holes. Yeah. I don't know. I hope that they get got however they get got, but yeah.
What's going to happen? B4 brings up, not to mention the son of Lord of River Run is half Frey now. So what's going to happen with Edmure Tully's son?
Yeah, but he's not Frey. I mean, he's a Tully. So, like, the man side matters in this, right? Like, all the Starks are Starks. They're not Tullys. Like, even though their mom was a Tully. So that's what matters.
There you go. We got Brand the Builder in the chat talking about if you see, you will see there are major parallels to Ares, Oakheart, and Jon. I mean, we can draw parallels to a lot. Jon pulls a baby switch, and you can't decide if Ares was behind the Myrcella swap. Maybe. Is the Myrcella swap 100% in the books? I know it's talked about, but I don't know if that's 100%. I think Myrcella might have really lost her ear. I think Myrcella did lose her ear. And they were using the girl who looked like Myrcella to try to fool Ares at first, but then it came out or something. I can't remember. Yeah, I got to read back on that.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
You think Dorne's going to come back and play? I mean, it's going to be a bigger deal in the book than it is the show, obviously. But how big a deal does Dorne come back in the books? Is that going to be? I mean, it has to be a major plot with all those sand snakes planted all over Westeros. But
yeah,
or is that just another goose chase and not really going to amount to anything?
Like it says, it's plausible that there's a daughter. Like, that would be a way to bring it back around and make it matter. There's a reason you would go to Dorne in the first place, to understand that whole situation on why this person has the claim over everything, or why that's important. But and then you have all the sand snakes. Man, it's definitely going to come back in a big way. I don't know how. That's not even something that I generally think about, is like how it's going to come back. But it has to come back in a big way. It can't be just like a Shaggy Dog story in its own.
Just the Starfell situation alone. I mean, the Starfell, the Red Door, the Lemon Tree. I mean, all that is Dorne. Now, I think it's Dorne on the Reach. I mean, Starfell, I think, is right there when they're talking about lemon trees and green grass and stuff. Obviously, that's not the red sands of Dorne. That's not a desert. So I think it's got to be right there on the cusp of the Reach and Dorne, and that's probably where House Derry is, but I'm thinking it's going to be Starfell or something to do with Starfell. that red door in Lemon Tree is going to be a door into Starfell, and that comes back to the baby swaps.
And, well, the Danes don't have house words because it's supposed to be a spoiler. So,
the swap of babies. Ours is the swapping. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. Exactly. The red door is a confirmed mistake by Martin, Brand the Builder says. A mistake that he let out that he didn't want people to know, or... And it's more about the lemon trees than the red door, but still. Unless the red door is something like that because it's a castle and it's more... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. In the book, I think the big Dorne plot is that they are planning for independence and Rhinish restoration. Both Lord of Dorne and the Viper were playing the long game, and since Dorne joined the kingdom. Could be. I almost think they're trying to integrate and become a bigger part of the kingdom, though, of Westeros. That's why they planted so many people in the Citadel and the small council, and not only for information, but again, to be able to guide things in the direction they want to take it, because they are in it for the big picture and the long game. Baby Swap coming soon on the Disney Channel. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, there's a baby swap. I think they got to explain that. And I don't know. Do you think Starfell? Do you think they skip over it, or just at least Starfell make a cameo in season 8?
Man, I don't know. I mean, yeah, because they got to come back. There has to be people from Dorne do something, because they're not. How does Cersei just kill all the people, like the Sand Snakes and what's her name? They're not. They can't just let that happen and that be the end of it, right?
Exactly. Yeah, there has to be some kind of conclusion to that. And I mean, they could tie that in with the story, the book, and the show, with the Sand Snakes going to a prominent place. Because I mean, they're both in positions to do whatever now and guide that situation. So when Tyrion and Cersei, we both think that Tyrion promised Cersei like he would basically betray Dany. Do you think he's going to try to end up pulling a Tywin and basically try to rule, and maybe even in the end have it as a Lannister ruling and not a Targaryen, because he doesn't want another Mad King situation ever coming?
Could be. Maybe he wants a bigger legacy than his dad, you know?
Those are some big shoes to fill.
Well, I mean, he already kind of hurt his dad's. Like I said, I've said it before on an argument with somebody, that I think no matter all the shit that Tywin did, like, his legacy is that he died on the toilet, shot by his son, killed by a dwarf. Like, that is his legacy. Everything, all the work that he did, none of it
Everything
mattered.
else just got flushed down the drain, so to speak?
Yeah, because of how he died. Like, that's his story now. Right? So, yeah, I think that Tyrion would want to be above him, but yeah, maybe he sees it. Maybe he's the kind of, he really does want, he's going to help Cersei try to get Dany, and then double cross Cersei to try to take the throne, to cast a big shadow. But that's always tough too, because if you can't fight, if people aren't scared of you, nobody's scared of Tyrion, like in a fight. So you need that.
Does Tyrion ever end up riding a dragon?
Hopefully. That's one of those things where, like, maybe Game of Thrones, like, they bring you right up to what you want to see, and then they pull the rug out from underneath.
That's the rug right out from under you.
Yeah, maybe one of those.
That whole situation with him making that saddle for Bran and saying, in the saddle you'll sit as high as any knight or any man. Doesn't he just have to? Wasn't that just the foreshadowing to him making a dragon saddle and being able to sit taller than any man, or just as high as any man, or higher? I mean, that has to be that tie-in.
And his dreams and
yeah, all his dragon dreams and the way he said, you know, I wouldn't even have to be a big dragon. A small one will do. I mean, doesn't he just have to grab the little dragon and jump on?
Yeah. If I'm being honest, and that's me, I would have been like, hey, can you take me for a ride on the dragon? Like, I've been dreaming this my whole life. Like, just take me on a dragon. I'll sit behind you and hold on to your waist. Like, I don't care. However we got to do this thing, I want to ride and I want to fly through the air on a dragon.
An imp on a dragon, Westeros' best band.
But then I'm me, so I would keep taking it too far. I'd be like, now can we burn something with the dragon?
Right. Now can we roast something? Yeah. It'd be like the little kid in Dorne taking his little flies around the lance, giving up his kingdom and not even knowing it.
Yeah.
Not Dorne up in the Eyrie, I mean. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Just the fact I wanted to say because he was the one person that walked up to the dragons and could pet them and didn't have a problem. But then again, Jon Snow walked right up to the dragons and pet them and didn't have a problem. So is that the show foreshadowing that Tyrion and Jon Snow are both Targaryens?
Let's not get started on everybody's a Targaryen.
Not everybody, but the ones that can go up to a dragon and not have a problem and not get roasted or fried. I mean, or did Tyrion just not get roasted or fried because Varys was with him and Varys has king's blood? He's a Blackfire. So is that why they behave themselves in front of them?
Could be. There you go. That brings around. Varys can be a Blackfire. But I think it's just better if Tyrion's not a Targaryen and he's actually Tywin's real son, right? So that it's better that way, I think. To me, at least, that he's his real son. So that Tywin's
real father.
Yeah, it's Tywin's shame whether he likes it or not. But that really Tyrion is so much like Tywin. Like if he wasn't a dwarf like he would be Tywin's pride and joy, not
right.
Jaime.
Right, exactly, because he's so much smarter and intelligent with the game. My whole thing, you know, I did a theory back before that I think Tywin was sterile. I don't think Tywin has any kids. I think those are all the Mad King's kids, and they are Targaryens. And that's the whole tie-in with the incest thing with Jaime and Cersei is because Targaryens have been keeping the blood pure and connecting for decades or eons.
And the flip of the coin, how fucking crazy Cersei is. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, and when she saw the wildfire and she saw the Red Keep going up, how her eyes just lit up and how happy she was, just like a Targaryen would be.
Yeah, like I said last week, I've been redoing fucking Feast, and she's so crazy in that. She's just crazy, and her chapters. I really like her chapters. I know people don't, but I like how smug she is about things and. We have like a view of the world and we know that like she's wrong about almost everything. Sometimes it works out for her a lot of the time, but her assumptions about everybody is wrong and her about everything. What she thinks of people, it's all wrong, but she's so freaking crazy. Like it doesn't matter. I like those chapters. I like her chapters.
Oh yeah, she brought it back around. She definitely gets crazy. And then, I do like how crazy they show her, but she is such an evil little That's why BBM. She's evil.
She's sick in the. She's trying to. I just finished like one of my favorite ones where she's
Here, let them know. I'll be right back.
She has that one knight dude from the Kingsguard. She's trying to get him to sleep with what's her name? Joffrey's wife or Tommen's little wife, whatever her name is. Jeez, I'm not good with names. I'm sorry, guys, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Well, he's trying to get this knight to sleep with her to take her maidenhead, and then she's gonna like this is all her big plan to first she gets this knight to sleep with the queen so that she can make them not get married, and then this knight will get sent to the wall so that now he can kill Jon Snow at the wall. And you're like, I'm just thinking, what kind of crazy plan? And the whole way, like, she gets this done, it's like she sleeps with the dude one time. Well, she did it before. And then he's like, I want to do it again. And she's like, all right. And then she tells him the plan. You got to do all these things. He's like, what? I got to go to the wall? She's like, yeah, but I'll pardon you once it's done. She's so crazy. There's no way. I don't know. Like, I love those chapters because she's just so, and she's so confident in all this stuff. Like, this is just how it's going to work. And it freaking cracks me up. I don't know. She's bananas. She's in banana land. But she's crazy. She's gonna talking about killing Jamie, and she's just.
Yeah, it does a great job explaining just how out of it she really is. But how beautiful she must be for the Kettle Blacks and all these idiots to keep buying into it just to be with her. It's like, what? I'm going to go to the wall and you're going to wait. You don't get released from the wall. There is no pardon me from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy. And then back before I left, I was going to say, Fandom D Saint says he thinks Tyrion is the one true child of Tywin. Brand the Builder says, I think Martin originally had intentions of making Tyrion a Targ, but when he did away with the 5-year gap, he changed his mind. I don't know. Like I said, I think Tywin might be sterile, and I think all those might be the Mad King's kids. If you read the books, the timing actually works out. Just the way the Mad King was with Joanna and how all that worked out. And then, yeah, they came back around for the 20-year reunion of the coronation to him being king, and that, the perfect timing for Tyrion to be born. But the way that what's her face, the Frey Lannister, came back and said that Tyrion, don't you believe it? Because Tyrion's his true son, is Tywin's true son. That's literally the only thing that makes me think that Tyrion might be Tywin's kid, and it'd be just kind of ironic that the one he hated the most was the only one that was truly his. But just the fact that he was stunted and a dwarf, and we know how many Targaryens came out stunted and deformed, just makes me think that he too is a Targaryen. That's why he's stunted, and the only reason he's even half normal is because of the Joanna Lannister part. So I don't know. What do you think about that? You think there's any way that those aren't Tywin's kids, or you just think all three of them are Lannisters?
I would say, if I was going to guess, I would say for simplicity's sake or brevity's sake, they're all Lannisters. But, they do a lot into like flipping a coin on whether one of them's crazy. Jamie, he's just in love, but Cersei's really crazy, so there's your coin flip. And then they have like their two sons, one of them's crazy and one of them's not, so there's your coin flip. So it could be, but
Brand the Builder says it takes too much from Tyrion's story and it just defeats this whole story arc. I don't think so. Just the fact that we do keep hearing about all the dragon dreams he had, why does he keep having dragon dreams if he's not a Targaryen?
Because dragons are fun. I have dragon dreams now. Like sometimes that's a fair point. Like, but I'm just saying, like, we dream about things that we like. But it's brought up in the story, so maybe it's significant. I don't know.
It is in the way they talk about it and the way that he used to, like, it wasn't just something he thought about it. Like, he lived it. He would go down in the dark and play in, like, the old dragon bones and stuff like that. Like, he was infatuated with dragons. So, that kind of leads me to believe that he was a Targaryen. And the only reason he made it at all was because he had enough Joanna Lannister DNA in him that he was actually brought to life. But he was such a stunted little monster that he killed his mom in childbirth. Because, as we know, it's not easy to bring a Targaryen into this world. Unless you're Targaryen and Targaryen, then they seem to have no problems. But yeah, it was Maegor and the non-Targaryens that were bringing in all those monsters. So who knows? Who knows? But that's all got to get explained too. But that's the stuff that'll get skipped over in the show. They're not going to deal with any of that for sure.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah, they're definitely not gonna get into Tyrion being Dany's baby and time traveling baby. You don't remember
the time traveling fetus?
Yeah. Oh shit! I forgot about that until you just said that about Tyrion being a stunning little monster. I'm like, dang it! Wasn't there a theory a long time ago about someone saying that Tyrion's a time traveling fetus?
There's some ridiculous shit out there. Sir Pounce for the win is all I'm saying. Aegon the Unlikely had normal kids with a Blackwood. Yeah, but we already know that the Blackwoods are mythical and magical too, because that's where that's how Bloodraven became, was a Targaryen and a Blackwood. So we already know there's a little bit extra in the Blackwood blood. Would be my answer to that. Dany dreams she is birthing dragons, which happens at the end of Game of Thrones. This much is true.
She didn't birth
it. Was it her? Who birthed it? You think it was more Mary Mazdur that did it?
No, I think the dragon that laid the eggs in the first place. I was just saying, like, because I'm reading and I'm watching. So where I'm watching right now, that was just the episode where Jorah, she's like, those are my children. And Jorah's like, no, they're not your real children. You didn't give birth to them. Like, he says that too.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So that's why that instantly popped out of my mouth rather than like, and you have no idea what I'm talking about. But in my head, it made perfect sense.
It's like in my head, it was there. V4 says Aegon the Unlikely is half Dornish. Are the Dornish magical? Yes, the Dornish have king's blood. The Dornish were the kings of Dorne, the princes of Dorne, but still kings and royal blood. So yes, absolutely, they would have king's blood.
They only have royal blood if they're Targaryen or Valyrian, I think. That's my king's blood. They only call it king's blood. My thought, once again, they only call it king's blood. Really, it's Valyrian blood.
And well, yeah, I mean, it could be. Because everybody that supposedly has king's blood is tied back to Valyrians, except for the Greyjoys. I don't know about any king's blood tied back to them. But yeah, Robert, the whole Baratheon line came back. There was a Targaryen that hooked up with the Baratheons back in the day. So there is, I mean, that's why he had the whole claim to the throne, because he does have Targaryen blood running through Baratheon blood. But yeah. I don't know. King's blood has to be a real thing. I mean, if you can cut a dude's manhood off and throw it into the fire and have the fire speak back, that sounds like some pretty magical shit to me.
Yeah. Do you want to know what it said? I would have been like, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Why some dude cut off my dick? I want to know, like, what was so significant? Like, what did you?
Why me?
Was it worth it?
Oh man! And does Varys still have that warlock trapped in a box? Like, is he still? We saw that way back in like season 2, 3. Is that thing still trapped in a box? Is he keeping that thing alive? What's up with that thing?
Oh, I'm pretty sure that's dead. That dude is dead.
He was in rough shape back then, but I don't know. He had him in that box. I don't know. I think Varys is doing some gnarly shit with that man or that thing, or whatever it is.
I think he's dead, right? Maybe that's the same box that Tyrion had to ride in on the boat.
Tyrion got shit back in. Oh, can you imagine the smell of that thing when he climbed in?
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, that's horrifying.
Oh my God.
Does Illyrio come back and do we figure out his whole situation and what he ties in and what his part is in season 8?
Illyrio
Mopatis.
And I don't think that he comes back. What? He doesn't.
I'm just having a glass.
No, you're good. I don't think he has any relevance to the story at this point.
Well, we saw in the very beginning in like episode 1 that it was him and Varys that were plotting this whole situation.
Yeah, but I mean, right now, how many people are going to remember that? I mean, it gets brought up.
Everybody in this chat remembers it, I'll bet.
Yeah, but what I mean is like that you only have a limited amount of time. You're going to spend some of that time with Illyrio coming back.
Well, if he was the main reason, what started this whole starting the Starks and Lannisters on a warpath against each other, I mean, they had a pretty major plan for all this.
True.
So, I mean, it has to, I mean, that was like right out of the gate. That was like right out of the gate in like episode 1, I believe. Or maybe episode 2, but I mean, it was right there. And they showed Arya over here and Varys and him, you know, they're not ready to make these guys go to war yet. So they have a master plan, a grand master plan on what they're going. And we need to figure out what that is, I would think. If you're going to start out the show that way, you got it. I mean, you have to, right? Don't they have to tie that up?
I don't think they have to. Like, if they sell it in the show that he's just someone that wants to make her queen so that he can benefit from it, right? Like, so he can benefit financially from taking care of the Queen of Westeros for all those years. You know?
If who could?
Illyrio, like,
he's going to want payday for that, though.
Yeah, but it doesn't really matter if they explain that in the show that remember, what's his name said, well, he remembers who, or like, I'll remember who the people that helped us, or whatever. That's why he's helping us. He's not doing it for free. So in the show, that's enough, right? Like, that's enough. This guy is just going to want stuff in return once you're queen.
Well, that was him, but I mean, like, you got to take part of it from the books. I mean, Tyrion was trying to get clever and try to get it out, and he couldn't get anything. Like, he was being too clever. He could not get a straight answer out of Illyrio. So there is a master plan that him and Varys are hatching up. And, I mean, it's got to be for them to put, I would think, for them to put somebody on the throne. Now, maybe the show just dumps it and just says, oh, yeah, we hope you forget about all that. But that would be pretty lame.
Yeah, well, I think that's what's going to happen. But that's in the show. I mean, obviously, it has relevance in the book. But
so what storylines do you think for sure get tied up in season 8? What do they 100% have to get dialed in your opinion?
All the major characters, like, which you got to handle what the Night King's about. Clearly, Jon Snow's story's the Starks and all gotta come to an end. What happens with the Seven Kingdoms? Maybe you get like a little Cliff Notes thing about like stuff that's happening in like Marine, but nothing significant there.
Does Brown Ben make an appearance in Snatch Dragons?
Maybe. Shit. They didn't talk enough about magic, like the magic in the show for them to justify whether they keep magic in the world. But I have a feeling that's an important part of the story, like, because you know how much you love Tolkien, about he wants a bittersweet ending, and that's, you know, Frodo and them leaving is that bittersweet ending. There's no more magic in this world, but humans get to survive. So is it, you know, I think the magic is important to it, but I don't know in the show if they see as much significance in that. But yeah, I don't. And the more I think about them, the more I'm like, dang, he is kind of right. Like, I don't know if they can wrap up everything. But they can just, I don't get it. How are they going to do it? I mean, they're definitely not going to be able to wrap up everything that we would want. That's for sure.
No, they can't. But do you think there's any chance at all that Marwyn the Mage makes an appearance?
No, I don't think it's been set up enough for him to introduce someone like Marwyn right now.
I think they tie any magical thing that he has to do, I think is what Melisandre is going away like to Ashai to figure out. And everything that Marwyn's going to do in the books, Melisandre will do in the show is what I figure. Because I think that has to be something major, and I just think they're going to give it to her.
Yeah, and do you think that like Aegon's storyline is cut between Dany and Jon? That's why they named him Aegon in the show?
Like Fagon, you mean?
Yeah.
Wow, that's strong. Whew. Is there, I don't know, is there a small chance that Aegon still makes, I mean, if I'm right about the baby swap and that ends up being a major thing, maybe they bring that up this year when the Golden Company comes, and that's when they bring on Fagon as the leader of the Golden Company.
Yeah, but that would be, people would feel like that's shoehorned in. Like you all of a sudden bring in this person that we had no idea of until this point, and then now they're super significant.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it might be shoehorned, but we've heard about the Golden Company, at least mention of them. So, I mean, and there's got to be a leader of them. So why not be Fagon? And that could be a way to sneak him into the story legitimately. Like he's been over there running the company, and now that's that's where he's at. Now that's how they introduce him. I could see that. And maybe they just bring him in, he dies in battle, and that's it. And that kind of takes care of that part of the story. But I don't know. There has to be a bigger part than that. So, yeah, I don't know. I love Brand the Builder is bringing a few that I haven't heard before. I love it. He heard that someone told him the other day that he thought maybe Marwyn the Mage was the warlock that cut Varys.
Well, it may be in the show, but that can't be like in the book, right? Because he exists in the book.
Yeah, because he's still, well, I mean, in the book, Varys, they didn't show Varys catching him. So in the book, it could be that way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, it could be. But, wow, that would be a trip. But I don't think so. But, wow, that would be cool. That sounds like somebody with my kind of brain just tying hands together. That seems like a stretch even for me.
But, I mean, that's as legit as anything, I guess. If he's practicing his shit, like, oh, man.
Yeah, that would be nuts. If Dario running the Golden Company would be a great twist, but they will drop the ball on that too. That'd be tough to make him the leader of the Golden Company, though, because you're supposed to have some kind of king's blood to, I would think, to be the top of that, or at least some tie to Westeros. But maybe not. Maybe it's been long enough. I guess they could switch that up. I see all the love for Dany we got in the chat. BBM says, I love Dany. Hashtag Dany's the best. What's that he say? I think he said, oh, F Cersei. That's not nice. Come on. She's crazy, but Cersei's all right. Does Cersei die? Cersei die? What did I say? I said Cersei dies in episode 4, I believe, on our last stream.
No, I don't think she dies. I think this comes back around to what Sansa said when she was talking about, when she was talking to Shay, when at the Blackwater thing, where she says, Shay says something like, she'll die, maybe he'll die, and she's like, no, he'll survive. The bad ones always do. So I think it'll tie back into that Cersei will live because the bad ones always live.
Okay, good. I like that. But no, Cersei is either going to die in childbirth like her mother did, so the prophecy will stay true about how many kids she has, or she just gets killed, like Sansa comes in and poisons her. Because remember, Ned said, I heard it said that poison was a woman's drug. And it was Ned who said that. So it could be Sansa who ends up poisoning Cersei. That'd be a cool little tie-in. I'd like that.
Yeah, that would work. Does Arya get to cross anybody else off?
Arya might be the one, because I think the way the zombie mountain dies is I think it's going to have to do with wildfire, and I think the Hound is going to hold him because he'll escape and he's getting ready to escape, and I think the Hound's going to hold him down, and they're both going to burn in wildfire, and it may be Arya the one who ends up throwing the wildfire, unleashing that wildfire on him. So maybe in that way she takes care of the mountain, but I don't think Arya is going to be the one to take out Cersei.
Gotcha. I don't know, though.
What do you think?
I think I would hope that if Cersei dies, it gets to be Arya that does it. But I don't know. I just like Arya, but I don't think she's going to survive. I'm kind of dreading this season in some ways.
No, this season's going to be amazing. Real quick, Brand the Builder says it was Pycelle to Ned. No, it was Ned and Pycelle talking together, but it was Ned who said the words, I've heard it said that poison was a woman's weapon. So it was actually Ned who said that, which is why it'd be a cool tie-in for Arya or Sansa to come back and use it. I think Sansa might use that on Cersei. That'd be pretty clean. And because it was Cersei, that's how Joffrey went down, was because of poison. So Cersei dying from poison, from Ned saying that, from Ned's daughter doing it, I think that'd be a cool little tie-in with all that.
You don't think it was just already tied in from the Joffreys getting poisoned?
It could be. It could be. I think it'd be kind of cool. It'd be a cool way for Cersei to die the same way her son did, and doing it the way because Ned said that and his daughter ended up doing it. I don't know. I think that'd be pretty tight. Oh, I see. He's saying in the books it was Pycelle. I gotcha. I'm gonna go back and reread my Game of Thrones book. It's been a while. P4 says Cersei gets the big cock. You guys think it's a joke, but I generally think that Euron will kill her during sex or something. The marriage is consummated and Euron is king. I love it. I'm sold. I'm shipping that one. Euron kills Cersei with his great big cock. That would be a great tie-in back to the speech. I would love it. Oh, that's awesome. She did take poison into the tower to give her and Tommen during the Battle of the Blackwater. She absolutely did, until Tywin came in and saved the day. That is true. So when does Jon Snow die this season? What takes Jon Snow out? How's he go out? Is it fighting the Night King? Is it something dumb? Does he beat the Night King and then go out?
He becomes the Night King. Like I said, you become everything you hate. He becomes the Night King.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't think it ends happily. That's for sure. So maybe I don't think John's like if it's bittersweet, John's story is not the sweet part, I guess, is my thought. So I think he has to do something with the Night King though. Like, yeah.
Is the Night King a Stark?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with old Nan. Say that he is. Like, if old Nan says it's so, then I'm gonna believe it.
Yeah, she hasn't been wrong about too much. That's for sure. Any chance we get to see an ice spider when the whites come through? We're gonna see an ice spider this season?
No,
we don't get that. The polar bears were the end of that.
Yeah, I think. If they did, can you imagine how mad people would be if you got ice spiders with CGI and still hardly any ghosts?
Oh, dude, I don't know. I could give up a ghost scene for some ice spiders. That'd be pretty dope. Ice spiders climbing up the wall, that would be ridiculously sick. I would love to see that.
But
I also want to see, like, the whites coming up the wall. I mean, I wish they would have done that because it says, like, the whites can do magical things with snow and ice. I mean, they could have just made ice escalators going up that thing and back down it. It would have been cool seeing some, like, different twists on that instead of just an ice dragon, like, blowing a hole through it. Like, I want to see him, like, twist some ice. Like I said, some ice escalators or some shit.
Yeah, but they can't even go over it. They had to destroy it. Like, remember, Cold Hands couldn't even go under it.
Cold Hands couldn't, but Cold Hands is a different species too. I mean, yeah, there's magic in the wall. Maybe that's how they had to blow it. So how, if there's magic in the wall stopping the whites from coming through, then how does a white dragon blow through it? I mean, how is it strong enough to beat it? Just because it's a dragon and so big? I mean, if the wall's there to stop whites from passing or getting through it, then why does a dragon get to just blow through it?
True. But maybe it's a different kind of magic.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But that kind of, there's a problem with my theory, and that is that in the first book, the whites come alive inside Castle Black. So
yeah, exactly. Castle Black is basically inside or to the wall. So
yeah,
that doesn't make sense at all. How did that happen? Yeah, there's some loose ends there. They need to get figured out. See, the chat's with me, man. We're ready to give up. At least maybe just one ghost scene to see some damn ice spiders. That'd be hella clean, I think. I'd have rather seen that than the damn ice polar bear. I want to see the damn ice spiders just clinking, like just walking up the wall with like whites on his back. And dude, that would be dope and creepy as shit. I would love it.
that episode, the ice polar bear, I swear I probably watched that episode 5 times, and I still have never seen like why they're staring so long into the fog. They're like, oh, there's something up there. And I'm like, oh, is there really? I'm all getting close to the TV like, why is they're spending so much time on this scene? I can't see nothing.
Yeah, it was like a glance, I think. Like if you looked real hard, I think there was like you just saw the blue eyes kind of walk by. And then it walked by again real quick, and you didn't realize what it was. And then all of a sudden, boom, there it is. You got the ice polar bear. Polar bear fell on me. I don't understand how the wall stops the wall. That's like circling show Danny and fire and saying, haha, you're stuck now. It's innate magic.
What?
I don't get that. I don't understand how the wall stops the wall. What I did see though, B4 up here, that's what I was trying to go back and find. It said something about in the Fire and Blood, it says that Queen Alysanne tried to fly her dragon past the wall, and the dragon would not fly past the wall. I haven't read that. I haven't gotten that far yet, but that's cool if that's true.
I think you meant like, the White Walkers. Why would ice stop? Like, I get it. Why would these ice creatures be stopped by an ice wall?
Because there's magic in the wall. It has nothing to do with the wall. It's the magic in the wall.
Yeah, got it. I'm just saying, I think that's what he was saying.
Right. Now, the bigger thing is, how did they bring in whites, get brought in? I mean, are whites just like vampires? They have to be invited to the other side, and then they can go through it? Like, if you get brought into the wall, then all of a sudden, like, you can get through it?
Oh, shit. What if that, like, okay. Holy shit. Hold on. That just made me think of this. Bran let the Night King into the cave by getting touched by it. So he was invited in, right? Because Bran's physical body's in there. So he gives the Night King a pathway to that. He gets touched, and now he's through. There's no magic keeping it there.
Right.
What if when they took the dead over there at the beginning, that's now there's no protection in the wall? Like Cold Hands thinks there is, but there isn't because they brought somebody in already. They invited him over and broke that protection.
So Cold Hands thinks what?
Cold Hands thinks he cannot go under the wall.
But since that's already been broken, he actually can, and he just doesn't even realize it?
Yeah. What if that's the case? If that can happen in the cave, then that maybe it does it to the wall.
Maybe. I don't know. It almost seems like he can sense it or something. Like in the show, Benjen didn't even want to get close to the wall. Like he was like a quarter mile out, and he sent Brandon Mirror on their way. Like, yeah, you're close enough, you're safe. He's like, I can't go any farther. So I'm wondering if like there's a force where the Cold Hands can just tell like I'll die if I take one more step.
Maybe.
But yeah, that's another thing that just doesn't quite get explained enough. What the hell is going on with that whole Cold Hands situation? Doesn't he just have to be the last hero, in my opinion? That's what I think Cold Hands is just the last hero. He walked out with 13 companions. They all died, and for some reason, he didn't. And he's been out there keeping brothers safe ever since. But, I mean, what is Cold Hands' purpose? What is he doing out there past the wall? I mean, just chilling, living, hanging? I mean, he has to have a purpose out there, right?
Yeah. Well, what if he was, like, just a raised white that retained enough humanity? You know what I mean? Like the R'hllor, they raise people and they lose part of their humanity. What if he just got raised too soon and he's kept some of his humanity and now he can't be warped like everybody else? And so now he's alive. You already revived him, so that's that. But you can't control him. So he's just running wild and free.
I don't know. And he makes that weird comment about that he's Bran's monster. So that's got to be some kind of weird tie-in. He's like, he's like, what are you? He's like, I'm your monster or something. I mean, that has to be something. I don't know where that means something. I just don't know what yet. Cold Hands might be trapped because whatever keeps him alive exists beyond the wall. Could be. I mean, is he just being warged by somebody that's keeping him alive? Forced to walk the world by one of the magics, like that. Cold Hands is Jon's fate, just south of the wall. Oh, that's going to be Jon south of the walls, just Cold Hands, just walking around helping people. That'd be kind of a trip. Bran the Breaker. He's Jormom. Yeah, that's going to happen. Is there going to be any, are we going to have any horn situations in season 8? Are we going to have to deal with any dragon horns or any horns going to come to fruition?
They had the horn there. I would like to see the horn be of some relevance. Maybe it is. Maybe it's like Sam comes in and it can do something. I mean, it's probably not Dragon Binder, but
What if it is? What if that's how they get the dragon away from the Night's King, is blowing that horn, and that ends up making the dragon come back and the Night King loses power over it?
Yeah, but why would that be the thing that they found at the Fists? Why would Dragon Binder be up there? Because
that's the thing that you need for dragons, or somebody had a green dream and realized that they're going to need this because this is happening, and this is going to happen, and this is going to be the way to stop it.
If you meld the book and the show together, that's legit. In the show, it's like they say that this stuff has been here a really long time. But in the book, they specifically say that it's fresh. It just was dug up recently. Like it was just placed there recently. So if you meld those together,
right,
someone could, I mean, maybe it was Cold Hands that put it there.
Or Benjen.
Well, yeah, in the show. So, yeah. Benjen's Cold Hand, we'll say they're the same person right now. But
he specifically said they're not.
Yeah, well, we're saying for the purpose of this, this thing right now that we're talking about, that they're the same person. That Cold Hand, because Cold Hands, I think, got sent by Blood Raven to drop off that stuff, like the horn and the obsidian, and bury it there because he knew that they would find it. So I think that's why that was freshly put there. Unless actually Benjen really did do it. He was like, shit, I was just talking to Mance out here, and there's White Walkers. What the hell? Maybe I need this shit.
Well, things stay fresh, so maybe it was just, they said it was fresh because it looked fresh because it's been in the snow and it's just been kept exactly how it got put there. So it just looks like it. They have no idea how long it's been there. And Bloodraven, I mean, we know that he used to be Lord Commander, and then he took off, and we don't really know what happened to him between the tree and him leaving the Night's Watch. So maybe he saw a prophetic vision and knew that they were going to need this, and maybe it's Bloodraven who planted that there umpteen years ago.
Well, no, I think it says it's disturbed, like it was recently dug. Ghost finds it, but the area was recently dug up.
Well, maybe Bloodraven sent one of his minions to do that, or he's the head of Cold Hands, and he had Cold Hands go do it so they could find it when they were out in the ranging.
Well, that's
time for it to come up. It was time to be found.
He put it there, though.
What's that?
I was just saying he puts it there. There, he put it there, and that would make sense. Like why there is some relevance to this horn if Bloodraven put it there. It was recently put there. I'd have to find what it says, but I'm pretty sure they say it was recently disturbed, like the snow or whatever was recently disturbed.
Yeah, I don't know if it was. I just think maybe Bloodraven made sure it got disturbed so the brothers would find it so they could use it because it's time to use it. But who knows? Wow, Game of Theories with Marie says it's 108 degrees. We're sitting here with the heaters on over here. It's like 32. That's nuts.
108 degrees where?
I believe she's in Australia.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah, other side of the planet. They're always summer when we're winter and winter when we're summer. So, but yeah, it's freezing over here. How are you doing over on your side? What is it where you're at?
It's nice out. It's like 60s.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what it is actually right now, but it's been in the 60s lately.
Nice.
Hold on. Let me look it up.
I know SP build a catapult and throw me some snow.
51.
Marie needs some snow. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. Well, right on, man. We got a lot to I'm gonna have to. This was just kind of a spur of the moment thing. I wanted to put it on and kind of throw some ideas around, and you're always one of the better ones to kick it off of because you make me like, all right, that doesn't work. Let me see, reboot it this way. But actually gonna have to put some thought into this and see exactly, do my rewatch and see exactly what's gonna happen at Winterfell, what's gonna be the breakdown, and where they're gonna take the season to end it. Because man, 6 episodes. I don't care if they're all an hour and a half long. I just don't think that's enough time to do what it needs to do and tie up all the strings that need to be tied up. It is, no matter what, they're going to leave some of the fans in disarray. No way to make everybody happy, but I certainly hope they do a tight enough job to at least appease most of the fandom. Like, okay, that at least makes sense. I can deal with that. Because again, this is my favorite show of all time, the greatest show ever created. You got to come out with a thunder and tie it up right. The White Walkers on one side and Euron Golden Company with the Dragon Binder on the other end. When do you think they will drop a proper trailer? Yeah, the one true David Adams is waiting for that trailer too. Let's see. It's March, so I'm going to say 2 weeks out.
So, okay, so 2 weeks. Oh, who was it last week that said that she's looking at a dragon? Did we both say that Arya was looking at a dragon?
Oh, yeah, because she's looking up. So, that was me, yeah.
Yeah, because that's pretty confirmed now.
Oh, like, is it?
Well, in the trailer, it's not like a Game of Thrones trailer, but it's a trailer for HBO and all their shows coming out this season. You see, like, Arya look up and, like, she smiles, but all the people in the background are running scared. So, pretty much.
They do. That's like a fan-made trailer you're talking about?
No, it's the HBO's trailers for all their shows coming out this season. You know, they do like those.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, well, they have that scene with Arya that they had the picture of. Well, she looks up and she gets like kind of a shocked smile on her face, but everybody in the background's terrified and they're like going running and hiding.
Oh, I gotta look at that. I haven't checked that out. But yeah, that would certainly bode well for what we were thinking then. Be another one called right out of the gate. I know we gotta start marking that down. I think we called some sick ones the other day.
We need someone needs to keep a tally of like every prediction and then do a percentage of how often someone's right.
Break it
And
down.
then that'll make people stop fence sitting like myself, because then you have to pick a side because you automatically lose if you sit the fence.
Right? Get those predictions in. Yeah, I'll go look at like the last 3 and write down who made what predictions and see who gets the most right. And then we'll do a live stream of just predictions, like top 20 predictions that you think will for sure happen this season.
Gotcha. Oh, shit.
Looking at that. Homework.
I'm gonna pick easy shit.
Yeah, exactly what I know.
Night King attacks Winterfell. So
Jon and Arya will meet up in season 8. Oh, yeah. What's she gonna do? What's gonna be the first thing Arya does when they see each other? She gonna be like a little shit and act all hard, or is she just gonna drop all bones and run up and jump on him and hug him?
Yeah, she's probably gonna run up and hug him, and then she's gonna say how many people she stuck with the pointy end. She says, "Stuck them at the pointy end."
Who rides a dragon besides Danny this year?
Jon.
Only Jon?
Only Jon.
I mean, obviously the Night King, but
yeah.
Does anybody else end up riding that blue dragon?
Bran.
You think Bran gets a hold of the Night's King dragon? Does he warg it, or does he sit on it and fly?
I can't fence it, so I'm gonna just name names like. I think that he can warg it, and he will ride the blue dragon, blue eyes white dragon.
He'll warg it. I think he'll use that saddle that Tyrion made him, and he'll use that saddle and jump on a dragon and use that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He'll ride the blue eyes white dragon, but he'll have to warg it.
Right, to be able to keep it down. Or yeah.
Yeah.
It would have to be stronger than the Night King to take it from him, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that'd be kind of crazy. You don't think there's any way that Tyrion or Arya or anybody like that ends up riding a dragon?
It'd be cool to see Arya. I just want Arya to do everything she wants. Arya's like how I see my daughter. I just want everything she wants to happen. I'm like, I just want you to be a little badass and do every dream you want to come true. Like, but I realize that's not gonna happen. So, no, Arya doesn't get to ride a dragon. Maybe she gets like Dark Sister though. I don't know.
I would say, yeah, they haven't made nearly enough reference with that in the Valyrian blades that are left. I think since Jon's dead, Jon will be the one that will take the blue ice dragon from the Night's King. Because Jon's already a dead man walking, so he'll have the power to be able to handle the dead blue ice dragon. So I think Jon takes that dragon in the end. And then he'll ride off because, yeah, that'll be his battle warrior because he's the only one that can ride the ice dragon. Just like in the actual Ice Dragon book, if there's only one person, then yeah, it'll be Jon who can actually ride the Ice Dragon. That'd be kind of sick. I like that. We will make it 100 times better. Spoiler, Euron is king in the end. You think if there's any way that it's Euron that sits the Iron Throne at the end of this?
Yeah, he's got as good a chance as anybody else, I guess. Like, who are the more? There's 4 main players, right, that have a chance, right?
What? Sit the Iron Throne?
Yeah, your main people who have the best possible. Like, a bunch of people have a chance, but who has the best chance right now?
Jon, Dany, Sansa, Euron,
Cersei.
One of the Sand Snakes.
Okay, so now who is set up in the position best to sit the Iron Throne?
The one who's
number 1 is Cersei.
Yeah.
Right? She's number 1. But so if...
Well, I would say Dany's number 1 because Dany could take it anytime she wants to. That's been well established.
Well, but she has other issues. Like, she's not... Like, all Cersei has to do is not die, right? And she sits the Iron Throne. But other people have to do stuff. But the next the next closest to her, like if Euron marries her and she dies, then he sits it. You know? Like, he is set up in a perfect position too. So I don't think it's unfathomable.
Yeah, like you said, if he comes over and slays Cersei with his great big cock and that consummates the marriage, and now he's king. Euron king. That makes sense. If TV show Euron was as insane as book Euron, then he would plan on being a White Walker in order to be an undead god. That makes sense. Yeah, who knows how that's going to plan out, because Euron is just as evil as anybody, more evil than anybody in the freaking books. And we don't necessarily know that the Night's King is evil, really. I mean, he let his people walk right by Sam and let Sam live, so they're not just killing indiscriminately. So, I mean, they have to have thoughts, and there has to be reasons for what they're doing.
Yeah. But, well, George doesn't like that either. Like the simple good and evil. He typically doesn't like that.
Yeah, he wants there to be gray area in everybody. Like no good or bad. Everybody, no black or white. Everybody's got some gray area in them. I get that. I get that. Right on, man. We've been rocking on for over a couple hours. We are, like I said, definitely trying to get back on track to being back up and running like on Tuesday nights. So you can kind of start looking to expect that, especially the closer and closer we get to Season 8. Want to thank everybody that made their way through tonight. Cammy, Brand the Builder, LMR, Game of Theories with Marie, B4Z, and Bubba Husky, everybody that made their way through. Thanks so much for coming through. We're definitely going to be back on soon. Definitely want to thank my main man Andy for coming on and rocking it on with me. Anything you got going on for the rest of the week?
Probably take apart my computer again, put it back together. You know, standard stuff. But yeah, thanks for having me on. We got, I forget what we set the over under, but it had to be somewhere close to 2. So you're on your way to hitting enough streams before the season starts. But I was pretty confident last week when you didn't hop on. So I was like, so we made it past the Tuesday, like I said, without streaming. But you hit me today. I had a bit of a headache, so my brain wasn't working too well. Sorry for that. Next time I'll be a little bit more interesting and engaging.
Right. Oh, it was a good time.
And it's based. B4Z based.
What's that?
B4ZED. I don't know if you're up with internet lingo or gamer lingo, but that would say based.
Yeah, I'm not at all. Nice. Yeah, thanks for being here, man. You had me cracking up all night. You were slaying it tonight in the chat. That was awesome. That was awesome. Friday is March 1st, a month and a half. Can't wait. I know, Cammy, it's coming so close. I got to get back on my watch. I haven't even started my rewatch yet, but I'll be binging that hard when I do, so I'm not too worried about it. But absolutely, we might get it on in the next couple of days or this weekend. But if not, I'm definitely going to try to shoot for no matter what being back on next Tuesday night. And, yeah, start getting back on trend of being on every Tuesday night again so we can get this going and see if we can't figure all this out right before it starts and be the channel that won.
Yeah.
Be the ones that figured it all out before they actually show us. That'd be amazing.
No, we'll see if we can keep a better track record than with Westworld, which we're pretty good with Westworld. So
there you go. And if we get it started early, like I said, try to get that on track every Tuesday. We will have that dialed in. So thanks again, everybody, for being here. And, like I said, look on for next Tuesday, and there's a slight chance it might even be before that. So until we see you next time, everybody have an absolutely fantastic week, and we will see you around the way. So until next time, game on.